There's nothing I hate more than scuff marks on a wall. ScuffX delivers superior scuff resistance in the most challenging, high-traffic commercial environments, thanks to its patent-pending scuff-resistant technology. Yes, there's people in a lab somewhere thinking about how to keep scuffs off walls. Where we're running around like crazy, there are actually scientists trying to figure this stuff out, and no one's done it better than ScuffX. I would not endorse this product if I didn't believe in this product. As a hotelier, it is so important to solve this problem because we spend so much money, so much time on painting hotel rooms that we finally found a solution. And I don't think anyone does it better than ScuffX. The high-performance ScuffX latex paint reduces the need for touch-ups, repaints, offers significant savings on long-term maintenance costs. And for all the information you need, go to benjaminmoore.com.
It's checking in with Anthony and Glenn, teaching you to be the hotelier that you wanna be. It's checking in with Anthony and Glenn.
Anthony.
Glenn Haussman. I gave you a gift today. What was it, Glenn?
You did. You gave me a gift. You gave me the gift of your presence here. But more seriously, I have finally secured myself from you, thankfully, these incredible collar stays, which I'm really excited about because I'm tired of having shabby collars.
So I'm looking at you right now, Glenn, and your collar is out of control. So can you give me those, please?
It is out of control.
On the mic,
all right, this is going to be great for the audio
for
podcast.
The audio, you're going to come over here, and I'm going to. So as we're starting this podcast. I'm actually. Oh, I give you two pairs, I think.
Oh, excellent.
I'm actually giving Glenn a magnetic stay collar.
Can they? Does it actually go in? Do I have
a
a hole in my shirt over here?
All
right. All right. So the problem with today is I'm too casually dressed. You, however, are dressed to the nines. Very impressive for.
Well, because we have a guest later, and I want to be really well dressed for them.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I've given up, so I don't worry about wearing fancy clothes anymore, hygiene, anything. So it's just.
Well, that's why I'm across the room.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at, we're at the Renaissance Hotel in Times Square or in Midtown.
It's in Midtown. There is one further uptown.
Right.
So this is on 35th and 36th Street. Absolutely awesome hotel. I don't know if you knew this, Anthony, but this hotel's been here for 3 years, and Madison Square Garden is right over there. You can see the Statue of Liberty from the room that we're in right now.
I know. I see everything. I see it all. I see Hudson Yards. I see Madison Square Garden. And you know how I know that this has been here 3 years?
How do you know?
I was at the opening party.
Aye.
And you know who else was here? Andrew Zimmern.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I came as a guest because my friend was director of sales.
Right.
And he came as a paid person. I'd rather come as a paid person than as a guest.
I would too. I happened to stay here to the NYU Hospitality Conference at the beginning of June. I really loved this particular property, so I'm excited that they gave us the warm welcome to record here today.
Yeah, I love that people allow us to come in and just take over their beautiful suite. This suite that we're in is probably, $3,000 a night or something?
Who knows? It's more money than I could imagine spending.
Well, I'm telling you, the deck is worth it because you can sleep on that deck outside.
Yeah,
we got to start doing this on YouTube so people can see where we are.
Well, I think we should, and I also I did bring some stuff, so we should shoot a video while we're up here today and post it online.
So let's shoot a video.
All right, so we will shoot a video. You want to do a video right now as we're recording?
Pictures of us.
All right, I love that. So, Anthony, one of the things that I'm trying to figure out right now is where to go on my summer vacation. But I got to be honest with you, one place that I wanted to go, but I'm thinking of not going to anymore is the Dominican Republic.
Well, I think everybody in the world now knows what's going on in the Dominican Republic. There's people that are going down there. And unfortunately, they're passing away. And over a period of a year, I believe it is,
yes,
they've had 10 people that passed away, and they don't know what it's from. The thing that I am concerned about is, well, there's a couple things, obviously. One, I would not go there, and I hate to say that because the Dominican Republic's a great place, but I would not go there now because there's not enough information, number one. Number two, as a person that has dealt with emergency PR.
Right.
So what's emergency PR, right? It's when something really bad happens to a country or a hotel or to a restaurant. They have a public relations company at their beck and call, and they call them and say, okay, we need crisis management.
Yep.
When my friend Carla Cacavalli was representing Aruba during the Natalie Holloway experience, she went down there and spent a month, and she was handling all the news media.
Right. For those of you who don't remember that story, she was tragically killed by somebody that was a local at the time. On
Natalie
the
Holloway.
Right. Natalie Holloway was. He got away with it. I'm forgetting his name. He was from Denmark.
But
or something
then he
like
eventually
that.
got caught.
He got for another murder and wound up in prison, I believe, in South America.
Right. So she went down there, spent a month or however long, and she dealt with the crisis management, and she handled all the news outlets. I don't see anything come out of Dominican Republic where they have a crisis management team. They should be having weekly, daily briefings about what's going on, what they're doing to investigate, and to put people at ease. And all I think what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is they're just allowing all these stories to come out. If you talk to 10 people, 10 people have 10 different scenarios of what happened. They're not controlling the story. So from a crisis PR standpoint, I think they're doing a horrible job. Obviously, killing tourists is bad for business.
Yeah, which is your favorite rule: don't kill the customers. Right?
Where did I quote that? I was like, I was in Baltimore and I was doing the show Hotel Impossible, and they had boiled eggs out for a week or whatever, and I said, killing guests is bad for business. Right. So, and again, not to make light of what's happening in the Dominican Republic, it's very serious. And you also have to take your own safety into your own hands. There's countries, and I won't name them now because I don't want to start a problem with the tourism boards of these countries, but there's 4 or 5 countries that a lot of my friends go to all the time that I just refuse to go to because I've been there on shoots, and I don't feel safe. So I'm not going to go to a country I don't feel safe in. So, it's one thing to believe the Instagram stories and believe the marketing. There's another thing to do your own homework and use your own instincts. But I know one of the rules I have is if you go to a country and they don't have a big police force and they don't investigate their own crime, there's one country in particular that they don't investigate their own crime. 99% of all crimes in this one country go unfounded.
Wow.
They don't investigate them.
Wow.
Why would I go on vacation to that country?
It's
a very popular country.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I would not want to do that. There's so many great places to go and travel to right now that there's absolutely no reason to go somewhere that you don't feel safe. And that's what the biggest problem, I think, is with what's happening in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. And again, 10 people since June of 2018 for this month have died in unexpected, unusual ways. Now, it might all just be the greatest coincidences of all time that this is happening. But even so, there's just no reason for me to choose to go there when I could go somewhere else.
Okay, and it's a good point because it could be a coincidence, which I don't know if it is or it isn't. I'm not going to make that statement. But as a crisis management expert in PR, I'm not, but if I was, the first thing I would do is I would do analysis on other countries the size of my country and how many people have passed away in that country over a period of time. Is it just part of just normal stuff and someone just went with it on Instagram and now all of a sudden it's viral? I don't think so.
No, it's very true, though. And that's a really great point, Anthony, because I remember 5, 6, 7 years ago, all of a sudden it was every time you turn on the TV, there was another shark attack, right? So you'd think that something was going crazy with all of the sharks, but it was really just the media reporting on shark attacks more, and the numbers didn't really change if you look at it statistically.
Same thing with bed bugs.
Yeah.
10 years ago, 5 years ago, it was all over 2020 and all the news outlets, and everybody asked me all the time, they go, so there's no more problems with bed bugs? I said, why? Because you don't see it on Channel 6 News?
Right.
I said, no, there's a problem with bed bugs, but they don't report on it, so it's not true. So now they're reporting on it, it's true. And again, there could be a serial killer down there trying to kill tourists. I have no idea. But they have an obligation to have some kind of conference at least once a week of what's going on down there. And I just don't see enough conversation. The only conversation I'm hearing are from people calling me and asking me, should I go down there? And my answer is, why would you go down there unless you know what's going on? It's like that airplane. What is it? There's 7.
We're going to talk about that next. The 737 MAX.
The 737 MAX. It's like, would you get on the plane? No, I'm not going to get on that plane.
There's just no reason to.
And what is the 737 MAX for people who haven't kept up on it?
For those of you who haven't been following, the 737 MAX is an airplane by Boeing. And instead of choosing to create a new airplane from scratch, such as the 787 Dreamliner, they took this 737, the existing plane, reconfigured it, and in order to get it to work the right way, they had two different things that they had to deal with. One is they moved the engines in a particular way that changed the dynamics of the 737 airplane in such a way that they needed to create a software program that was able to fix some of the flight problems that you would have created by the placement of these engines compared to older versions of the 737.
I'm not an engineer and I know nothing about planes, but just on its face, that sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, not a really.
When you need a software to override an emergency situation, how about the software fails, which it has failed? It's like, listen, you can't engineer something so complex like that and expect not to have problems. And when you have passengers on the plane, I don't think that's a good time to start experimenting.
No, it's really not a good time to start experimenting. I got to tell you, Anthony, I'm very disappointed that Boeing is ceding ground now to Airbus by doing something that they didn't need to do. They could have designed the plane in the right way and been really successful, but it looks like that there's a lot of stuff internally that was happening that prevented this being done in the right way, and it just comes down to money over safety.
There's no right way to do a wrong thing. And talking about that, as I'm saying those words, you just put your glasses on. I saw the light go through those glasses.
Yeah.
Those glasses, how can you see through them?
I need to get new ones.
No, they're smudged. It looked like 7 people put fingerprints all over your glasses.
So not only are they smudged, but they're also scratched.
Yeah.
So, well, you know,
you're a mess, man.
Yeah, but some reason when I put them on, you look much better to me.
So that and that's whether you're running a tourism bureau, whether you're running an airplane company, you have an obligation to give information to the people that are going to your country or riding on your planes. And I don't think either company has done a good job.
Boeing didn't give the pilots the information that they needed to know about a potential software glitch that has now caused hundreds of people to die. That's unforgivable.
Do you think the plane's just going to go to the scrap heap?
I don't know. It's too early to tell, but there's definitely talk of that starting to happen. And if Boeing doesn't cancel it, I think that companies like Southwest are going to start to cancel all of these orders that they have.
If I was an airplane company, there is no way. And again, this is very layman terms because I know nothing about the complexities of airlines and what it costs to get an airplane, and if there's another company that would be able to supply me an airplane. So based on layman's terms, I'm just simply saying, why, if I'm TWA?
Yeah.
They went out of business, I think. If I'm Delta or although they do have a great hotel, I hear.
Yep. And yes, we are working on getting an interview at the TWA hotel. I'm working on it now. It just hasn't been solidified yet.
Right. And you're still working on getting Lisa to do a podcast from Celebrity Cruise Lines.
That's right.
Lisa, if you're hearing, we're ready. We're ready to go. If he doesn't know what he's doing on vacation, I don't know what he's doing on vacation. It sounds like a great idea,
right?
I just don't know the complexities of it. But again, killing guests is bad for business.
Right. Yeah. So don't do that.
You're a highly educated person. That was really articulate.
I know. I really appreciate that. You know, sometimes I just feel the need to show off with all my fancy pants language there.
No,
Anthony.
I was impressed with that you understood the configuration of the new jetliner that is not working well. I didn't even know. I didn't know the intricacies of it.
I happen to find all of this stuff really fascinating to me. Airplanes in general just are so incredible and magical.
I was coming back from Spain 2 days ago.
Right.
Thanks to you. Because he put me in contact with Porcelanosa, and I went over to Porcelanosa to potentially work with them. So I'm in the airplane. It's, 11 o'clock at night, New York time, and I'm 38,000 feet in the air going, 500 miles an hour?
Yeah.
And I see it, on the screen. And people are sleeping. My drink is perfectly still.
Right.
2 inches away from me on a very small platform. It's staying perfectly. I'm very comfortable. It's air conditioned, and we're flying through the sky over the ocean.
Yep.
And I'm just like, how did we come to this? If you would have put this airplane 1900 or 1800s and you would fly it over New York City in the 1800s, people would have thought UFOs coming.
Right.
They would have thought the end of the world is coming.
Right.
And now we're sitting, relaxing, sleeping, flying from Spain to America. So, but the complexity of that. So it just made me understand. It's like so now when I get turbulence, when I was younger and I was traveling, a lot,
you get nervous.
Turbulence didn't bother me. Like I was like, hey, maybe we'll do a loop-de-loop in turbulence. Now one little bump,
Really?
and I'm literally grabbing the guy next to me, going, "Hold me, hold me."
Oh, you sound like my wife. Why do you get nervous from turbulence?
I'll
it's
tell you why.
innocuous.
The odds are against me.
Yeah.
I fly so much, you fly so much.
Yeah.
The odds are against me.
All right.
I feel like the odds are catching up to me in that, like, okay, there's no way I can get on all these planes and not have a problem.
Yeah.
And it just scares the living crap out of me.
Have you ever had a serious problem while flying?
I had the worst turbulence was a couple of years ago. I don't know
Right.
where I was coming back from. And I didn't get hurt or anything, but it literally almost curled me into a ball.
Wow.
I mean, it was so scary. It was violent. And the young lady next to me, like I was looking at her and she's looking at me, and I didn't say anything to her because it didn't get that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But we were about 3 seconds from just like grabbing each other and going, "Save me!"
Wow.
So I haven't had anything significant, but it's as I get older, I get more and more nervous about flying.
That's interesting. I had a phase where I didn't care at all, and then for a couple of years I was freaked out, and then that just kind of went away. But I did have one serious emergency landing once, which was interesting. You know, it's so funny because you're talking about people sleeping on the plane, how relaxed it is. We forget that
We're in a plane.
That we're in a plane, and it's really a freaking dangerous, crazy thing. Even though statistically it's safer than driving cars these days because we've gotten so good at it. But
No,
still,
it's safer than to drive in cars.
yes,
Right.
So it's pretty amazing. One time I was on a plane. I want to say it was an old MD 80 model. You know, the ones with the engine that was on the back of
Sure.
the tail, right? So there was some sort of loud noise as we were going up in
Not
the
a good
plane,
idea.
like not a noise that you should be hearing, kind of a noise, right? And I turned to the guy next to me. I'm like, that was a weird noise. That was not good. I've never heard anything like that. And he's like, you know, whatever. And then 30 seconds later, pilot comes on and goes, "Oh yeah, we're gonna take this back in and go land right now." He said something that made it seem like it was an innocuous kind of an
And
issue.
was it?
I don't know, but I will tell you. I don't know exactly what happened, but I will tell you that I felt really freaked out from that. I knew we would be fine because he seemed really calm and the flight attendant seemed really calm.
Imagine if he said, "Oh shit, we got a problem. We're
Yeah,
landing.
right.
Be back to you in 5 minutes."
Yeah, right. But it's just like,
But isn't it interesting? That is fascinating.
Yeah.
What you just said. His calm voice of,
Right.
"Hey, we got this. We're landing. It's all good. Would you like a drink? Mm-hmm. You know, peace and love." That makes a difference.
Yeah.
As opposed to him saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have to have emergency landing. Please put your head between your
Right.
tail and kiss your ass goodbye."
Yeah, exactly. And for me, thank goodness, the most stressful part of the day was getting stuck in an airport afterwards and having no way to get home.
And
But
that's another thing. You know, we talk about flying and just the hassle of flying and things happen. I'll talk about it on something you don't know at the end of the podcast. But like I had some stressful things happen in Spain when I was traveling, and it's just like, man, just chill. Just like it is what it is, and so I see so many people so uptight.
Right.
There's a guy. Oh my God. In JFK going, and usually when I go through security, everybody's cool and never really have any problems. And I don't even think he worked for
TSA?
TSA. I think it was a different guy just controlling traffic. And I have to call him a son of a bitch. He was just angry. And he's yelling at everyone. An international going in through the security international. So you have people from all over the world, and he's representing New York City. And this man made every person that said New York City is full of crazy, nasty people, he made us live up to that. He was just yelling at people. And like he looked at me, and like I was moving, and I was just like, "Please say something to me," because I was in the mood, man. I was like, "I don't care if I get arrested. Like, don't you dare open your mouth to me." And I gave him the New York look, and he just stopped yelling in
That's
my
awesome.
direction, and then started yelling in somebody else's direction. And he's like, "What is wrong with all these people? Why can't they do that?" It's like, because maybe they've never been in this line before, and maybe your job is to like let them know what they need to do. And why don't you just kind of chill, bro?
Right. Yeah, everyone gets too annoyed, too angry, too freaked out when we're at the airports. On Father's Day, I had a delay. I get on the plane. They sit us down, the first boarding group. There's no air conditioning on there, and it's super duper hot. And they're like, "Hey, we probably shouldn't have boarded you all because we've got a part that's broken, and we need to fix it, and we don't have it here at this airport. But the good news is at LaGuardia. It's at LaGuardia. I'm at JFK, and they're going to put it on a car, and they're going to drive it over to the airport. So instead of you guys sitting here, we'll get you off the plane. So thank goodness we got off the plane, and we're sitting in the airport. You know, it's going to be an hour then, but they don't tell you the truth on how long it's really going to be. Right. So you can't really go anywhere. We're going to board in 30 minutes. Now we're going to board in 30 minutes. Now we're going to board in 30 minutes, right? So they finally get the part. They put it in, and they're like, yeah, so the part doesn't work. So we got to get another airplane. So then they go ahead, and another hour and a half goes by or so, and they get another airplane. And then apparently the captain's chair and that airplane was not working right. So then they had to fix that part and put it on. Then we all get on the plane, and we're now 5 hours into this delay.
Because you're not on my favorite airline, are you?
Might be. This is the airline I fly all of the time, and stuff does go wrong. So,
wow.
I can't expect, statistically speaking, the amount that we travel, we're going to get screwed sometime, right? So, all right, it is Delta Airlines, and I should get some sort of compensation
but they
for this.
They handled it well, right?
Not particularly.
No, really?
They didn't handle it bad. They just didn't handle it well, because I think that there was a whole lot of lack of communication going on a Sunday, and nobody really knew what was up. So I'm a big fan of all the people that work on the front lines of Delta, but I don't think they had enough information in order to be able to communicate in the way that I would prefer to hear things. So we finally get on the plane after a 5-hour delay, and they forgot to fuel up the plane. So then when they said they're bringing the fuel over right now. They
literally forgot to fuel the plane.
And now another hour goes by, 6-hour delay before we get off the ground. 2 broken planes, forgetting to do the fuel, taking an hour for that. That was...
Did you crash?
It was... no.
Then you had a good day.
Exactly. So to me, the lesson is just try to be calm. You have no control over it, but you're going to be safe.
Well, I know we're going to do a podcast about how you handle stress.
Yeah.
But like in that situation, it's like... I am going to fly through the air at 40,000 feet at 500 miles an hour on this aircraft, and I'm going to land safely in another city or country, and I'm going to be able to do my business. There was a 6-hour delay. Okay. If you didn't have an airplane, how would you get there? You couldn't.
Right. I know.
So when people get overly, and you didn't seem overly flustered about it.
I wasn't, because you just roll with the punches, but there were people there that
I hate those kind of people.
You thought that this was the end of their lives.
I hate those kind of people. It's like, they're like, do you want them to rush this?
Right.
Do you want them to go with a captain's chair that's not perfect, or you want them to go with not enough gas or fuel, or you want them to go with a part that's not perfect? I mean, I really don't want people. I don't want my mechanic rushing. I don't want my dentist rushing, my mechanic rushing, or my lawyer rushing, or my accountant.
Right.
Like, take your time.
Have you seen how much lawyers charge? You sure you don't want them to hurry it up a little bit?
Well, but you know what's interesting? Coming back,
right.
I was in a cab. No, I was first on a bicycle in Spain. Then I got in a cab. Then I got in a cab. I got on a train. From the train, I got on a bus. From the bus, I got on a plane. From the plane, I got in another bus. From the bus, I got in another cab. I mean, so I had 8 or 9 different modes of transportation. And guess what? In each one of those, except the bicycle, I didn't know who's driving it.
Right.
It's fascinating to me how much trust we give to people. So when things don't happen, rushing people that have your life in their hands is not a good idea.
No, it's
so what the hell is this podcast about today?
I think it's just about stories that we saw in the news.
Okay, so story we saw in the news then. Okay, let's talk about the needle in the guy's foot.
Oh yeah, tell us about that.
You tell
story.
me. I sent it to you.
Yeah, but then I lost the I lost the thing. All I know is there was a needle in a guy's foot. Did you resend it to me?
The guy was walking in I think it was a hotel room, right?
Right.
And he somehow got a needle stuck in his foot, and I have no idea how he did that. But now that both of us are talking about it, neither one of us remember the complete story about it, so we're trying to frantically find it on our phone. I don't want to get the details wrong.
Yeah, I don't seem to have it here. All right, I found it. So, yay, me here on this one. So, a Colorado man was apparently in a Florida hotel room, had bare feet. His right foot went underneath the bed skirt. He felt something sharp and apparently had a needle lodged in the end of his big toe that still appeared to have something in it. Ooh.
That is not good.
Not good at all.
So what is the obligation of the hotel, and is it a what should happen? How should the hotel company handle it? It was a brand. We won't talk about which brand.
Well, it's also just forget the brand. I mean, that's not the ownership group. That's just the name that's on the building. The ownership group has to deal with it. And I think if they can't keep their rooms cleaned to keep their guests safe and secure, then they have an obligation to pay for any medical problems.
What happens if the guy put the needle there himself just to get an insurance claim?
Yeah, I mean, that's always a possibility.
Right?
There has to be some sort of
so it's
investigation.
complicated.
It is,
So if you were a lawyer, you'd be like, hey, if you start compensating this guy, send him to the hospital,
right.
Give him all kinds of treatments for all kinds of potential diseases. Are you showing that you're responsible?
Right, and theoretically, I guess you could be culpable if you acknowledge it at all. But but on the other side of it, if you don't and you blame the guy, then you're going to need to call one of those crisis communication PR firms.
If I was the owner, I would immediately tell him to go to the hospital, send me his medical bills.
Yep.
I will take care of it. I will also state clearly in a text message, email, saying we are not taking personal responsibility for this. We don't know what happened. But if you're feeling in danger or you're feeling like something is wrong, I'm going to let you go to the doctor and you can send me the medical bills. Would my lawyer allow me to do that? I don't know, but I'd probably do it anyway for a number of reasons. One, I want the person to be safe. Number two, I don't want any bad problems coming back from social media. And and take my chances.
Yeah.
So I think you immediately just do the right thing and then worry about the legal ramifications later, as opposed to do the wrong thing and you're going to have to worry about the legal ramifications, regardless.
Right. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I think that's really
But just
good
think
advice.
about that. Think about going into a hotel room in the middle of the night, and every guest, I don't care if you're a seasoned traveler like us, or you're a person that goes on vacation once a year, or a person who's never been on vacation, you're on your first time. Every single guest is insecure. Every single person, when you go to a new country, a new state, and you go into a hotel room, you feel secure for a second, but one thing can make you feel so insecure. And some people just, because they're newbies, are very insecure.
Right.
So could you imagine if that's a new person who's never been to never traveled before, and all of a sudden that happens to them? I mean, that would freak us out.
Oh, yeah.
We're seasoned travelers. So, hotels have an obligation to look under the bed to ensure that their guests are safe and secure. But again, do we know that really happened? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's you want to believe the person, but it's hard to in 2019.
No, that's hard to do any time. I mean, that's a fallacy. 2019 or you don't think there were scammers in 1900?
No, there definitely were.
Right, probably more.
They probably got away with more because there was less ways to find out if they did it. Right?
So, now that we're coming to the end of our podcast, tell us something we don't know.
Tell you something we don't know. Well, I am freaking out about planning this summer vacation, and I keep asking my family to come up with great ideas, and nobody has any good ideas. And my biggest fear here, Anthony, is I'm worried that I'm just going to get stuck in my backyard all summer and not go away anywhere.
So what I would do is I would spend a couple of hours concentrating on where you want to go, because I'm having the same problem.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I really have no say. So
they
got to tell me.
It makes it easier for you.
they got to tell me where they want to go. We just had this conversation yesterday, and I was shushed and said, "Let's not talk about it now." I said, "Okay."
I have a feeling I'm going to wind up at like Disney or something. Again, it's been 4 years since I took my kids there.
Why don't you go to Hilton Head?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Why don't you go to San Diego?
Yeah.
Why don't you go on a little 3-day cruise?
Why don't I do a lot of things, Anthony?
Why don't you call Lisa at Celebrity Cruise Lines and let's do our podcast from one of her majestic ships?
I know. Let's go do the one that goes to the Galapagos and go.
I'm in.
Let's go interview a Komodo dragon.
Let's go.
And so, Anthony, tell me something I don't know about you.
Oh, I got a couple good stories for you, Glenn.
Yeah? Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Okay, so I don't know which one to tell you first. Well, you know about this one, but the audience doesn't know. I had just said a couple of weeks ago to someone, I've traveled all over the world and I've never lost my phone. And when I'm traveling, it's pretty chaotic and there's a lot of timelines, deadlines, and so you're just moving really fast. And I go to Spain. I sit in a cab. I'm with this gentleman, David from Porcelanosa, who's a wonderful man.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
And we were talking just in general. And he goes, all right, let's go. We have to get on the train. So we jump out of the cab. About 3 minutes into walking towards the train, I turned to him and I said, I left my phone in the cab. So I was not stranded, but I was in Spain for a week or 4 days.
That's pretty nerving.
Without my phone. Ooh. And on my iPad, I don't have cellular service, so I have to be connected to an internet.
Right.
I have to be connected to the internet, so I couldn't get in touch with my family. Business is business, but I was more concerned about not being in touch with my family. So every time I had internet service, I had this big stupid iPad, so I really couldn't do any social media or anything like that. So he called the cab company. He did. As a matter of fact, he was the best VIP concierge in the world. David was checking with the train station, checking with the cab. He was amazing. He did a great job. But I didn't have a phone for a few days in Spain, and so I have a question for you. If you go to Spain, you don't do social media. Did you really go to Spain?
I think that is the age-old question. If you don't have pictures that you're never going to look at again that you put online, then you haven't done it.
Well, 75 people responded to that question I posted, and 25 said you didn't really go to Spain, and 50 people said, nah, you went to Spain. Yeah. And then I posted some pictures I actually had on my iPad a little bit later, just a couple of pictures. And so that's something you don't know. But you know what?
What?
I just dealt with it, man. Yeah. I never panicked. I never got upset. It's just like it is what it is.
After the first 12 hours or so, did you find it kind of refreshing to not have a phone?
I realized that I never thought about it.
Right.
The only thing I thought about, and actually I still didn't get to my business emails, because my business emails, I have a new phone. As soon as I got off the plane, my friend Robinson, who drives me, brought me right to the 24-hour iPhone store. Right. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting a new iPhone. So I got everything up and running on my new iPhone except my business account. So I still haven't responded to probably 300 business emails. Ooh. And I don't think I gave my assistant the right login information. So I'm really concerned about that.
All right, so if you haven't heard from Anthony, then you know exactly what happened. He's pretending to be in Spain.
I figured people would have texted me if there was an emergency, but I'm sure I missed a lot of meetings and opportunities. But anyway, so that's what you don't know. So that's it, my brother.
How do we find you, man?
You find me at Anthony Hotels, anywhere you want to be on the internet. And the one thing I want to also say is, I keep forgetting to talk about our podcast everywhere I go. I like when I'm doing these speeches and stuff. I never talk about it.
You should, because
I know
we want people to listen to this thing, man.
It's ridiculous.
All right, I am at Traveling Glenn. I want to thank you all for listening today. Like our Facebook page, like us online, check us out on LinkedIn, and all of those great places that you can find us. And do us a favor, let your friends know about the show. Share it with them, and give us those reviews on iTunes. It's really a big help for us. We'd really appreciate it, and I want to thank you all for listening. So for Anthony and myself, Glenn, thanks for checking in.
It's Checking In with Anthony and Glenn. Teaching you to be the hotelier that you wanna be. It's Checking In with Anthony and Glenn.